2, and I am now in the Hawkins Gap region. Only just. It's only about the third system here. The third system I've entered since I actually crossed the boundary into this region. But the next jump is the next destination. So this is the system that has the Amphora plants. So I'm quite keen to see what these are like. So of course the first thing I have to do is scan it, and I just have this feeling there's going to be like a shitload of planets here. Alright, so that's the first A-type, A-class star that I have visited since entering this region. Oh, fuck. Fucking hell. Right, I can't see anything on there. Alright, it looks like there might be, yeah, water worlds. So, we've got a good amount of stuff. That is the first gas giant I think I've scanned. So, yeah, it's mounting up. Fucking hell. So it's one of these cuntish systems where everything's all scattered around. How far away is this? 294,000. You just know they're going to be there. Do any of these gas giants actually have any moons around them? Well, maybe not. It's only 18 bodies in the entire system. Yeah, another gas giant. Okay, so that's a water giant, not a water world, but, well, if I can take that. Water giants are a lot rarer. This does not bode well for system, or you know, this Amphora plant being quick to find. But all around the sea there was a planet around the primary star, I think, but it was a gas giant. Fuck it. Oh. Right. Well, the good news is I haven't got to scan that many planets or map that many planets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. That's the good news. The bad news, I've got a long old fucking trip to find them. But I'll do them in order, so we'll start with 1. Actually, before, no, while we're underway. Let's see who found these things. Astronomical bodies up to 19. What I am keen to, I'm not going to find them here. There we go, the old gas giants. Definitely pleased to get the water giant done that quickly. This is what I particularly want to check though. Any of these new ones that I found that might be terraforming candidates. I've only found one so far, and that was this one here, and obviously I did scan it, or map it. On terraformable, that one there isn't a terraformable option, so yeah, okay, that is it. Anyway, what I'm particularly after, so metasynaptic. Now, when you're into this sort of area, the chances are it's not going to be, yeah, his name doesn't appear anywhere there. So I can't use that method, which is a pain. Okay, so 291,000 light seconds to go. This is definitely going to need a jump cut, so yeah, back when we are within scanning range. Alright, well that trip was every bit as riveting as you can imagine a 290,000 light second trip to be. During it I had a check of the description, and it said that Amphora plants are found on or around metal-rich terrestrial planets, so they must surely be on either C1 or C1A. The other thing, of course, is that I've not scanned any geological signals in this region, so I will want to scan any of those that come along, and with this being metal rich, I'm sure there will be. Can't fucking see.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Now, are we close enough to get any signals from it? I suspect we are, and there just aren't any, so they must be on the moon here on C1A. Can't imagine this thing taking too many probes to scan.
Surface scanned by 50%.
There we go, right, so we have 11 biological and 23 geological. Plenty of signals to check. That means I've got to fucking make a note. Right, so G, B, let me just, oops, no, it's back here. Let me just check the, so iron magma, so composition 100% metal. That makes this a fucking giant ball bearing that's orbiting the planet. Yeah, so iron magma. Now that means iron magma lava spouts, possibly, but it didn't mention anything about volcanism. Oh, that I didn't read it. Possible that some of those might be there. Very unlikely that that will. Possible that there might be gas vents as well. But lava spouts certainly seem likely. So let's check out, well, nearest one, geological 8. Look. Now, I'm well aware that anyone who is sad enough to be watching this, you're not interested in the geological signals. 8 is now right the way around, so fucking scratch that. 4. Well, I pressed the right key. There we go. Anyway, yeah, I realise you're not at all interested in the geological signals, but I am, and I'm the one playing the game. So tough shit. Now, I'm hoping the planet will be flat enough for me to land, especially when it comes to checking out the Amphora plants. For the geological signals, I'm not that fussed, you know. I'll just fucking hover above them, scan them like I do with a lot of the sinuous tubers in the last video. Admittedly, there it was more through necessity than anything else. Like very low gravity, 0.12. It's not the lowest I've been to. Certainly wouldn't want to be trying to land around this area. Right, well, there are plenty of signals. I can't believe I'm needing to use the night vision, but now these are more like gas vents than anything else. Whatever it is, it will be a signal that, you know, I can scan if I can actually position myself right. Let's try these ones. Out of range by a fair distance, I think. Oh, fucking hate it when it does that. Right, so what have we got for this? So it's sulfur dioxide gas vent. It's actually not the one I was expecting to find. But I'll certainly take it. So now, if there's sulfur dioxide gas vent, yeah, there must be sulfur dioxide fumaroles around, or at least it's a fairly safe assumption. That, I think, yeah, it is going to be just nothing but gas vents around here, so we don't need to scan anything else here. Okay, let's just go straight for the biological 8 then. This must be surely an Amphora plant signal source. Let's see what these things are all about.
Shift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1,
I have a feeling I'm going to end up mapping all of the planets that, you know, I can land on around here, because, yeah, I mean, I may find other geological signals that I will want to, you know, get mapped on the codex. I mean, I'll freely admit, you know, scanning geological signals is boring and tedious, but I want the codex filled, so I will persevere with it. But I'll spare you having to sit through it. I won't be recording those. I don't actually like landing and visiting metal-rich planets, because even if I need raw materials, I'm always trying to max them out. I don't want to just grab a few and then go. And that usually means that it's going to take me a little while to do. So I will often need to synthesize fuel for the SRB. Because on a metal-rich planet, you don't get any of the non-metallic elements, so you don't get any sulfur or phosphorus. So I end up losing those, and then I have to bugger off somewhere else to replenish them. So yeah, I don't really like doing them. Well, whatever they are, they're certainly green. Let's put down. It looks relatively flat around here. We'll go out and
Landing gear deployed.
check them out in the old SRB. It looks like I'm nowhere near the ground, but I did not refuel my. Hang on, no, that's right. I landed at the planet-side base in Eagle Nebula. I was wondering what the fuck was going on there for a minute. I hadn't refueled my SRV.
Low gravity warning.
They're all in the shadow at the moment, but yeah, there they are. So that is the old Amphora plant. Have a little drive around. Gross is a bit of a pain to shoot off. So you get vanadium from that. You get phlegm excretion. Ruthenium from that one. So I say, I don't have a huge number of you know, biological codex entries, or indeed any sort of codex entries, for things that are not found in the inner Orion spur, but yeah, this is one. So oops. Yeah. You can tell how often I use this fucking thing. The sun, the primary star behind us. What's of it? Yeah, it actually looks pretty good. I'm absolutely surrounded by signals here. So, there you go, this is a good place to come if you need raw materials. Only the small matter of it being about 5,500 light years away from the populated zone, but you know, yeah, I'm sure you can, you know, make up for that, no problem. Okay, now. I mean, it is actually entirely possible that these things are in the inner Orion spur. It's just that they haven't been discovered yet. I mean, I wouldn't exactly bet the mortgage on that being the case, but you can't, you know, can't deny the fact that there is that possibility. Judging from the amount of fucking contacts I've got here, I mean, look at all that lot. So yeah, judging by all that, it would be fucking useful if they were in the inner Orion spur. Better yet, very close to the you know, the populated zone. But also, judging by all of those signal sources, I'd say they almost certainly won't be. But there you go. That is the Amphora plants. I finally found them. Ever since I saw them in the codex, this was one entry that I was particularly keen to see. Don't ask me why. I just thought they looked, I mean, they look like overgrown pitcher plants, but yeah, I was quite keen to see them, and now I've done it. That's another one ticked off my bucket list. So yeah, I'm going to be continuing to scan this system for a little while, say looking for geological signals. But yeah, the next planned video is going to be the Lagrange cloud that I'm heading to, the third of my target destinations. But if I do find anything of you know, interest between now and then obviously I will do you know, a video of that. That Lagrange cloud is quite some distance away from me, I think. So yeah, it's not going to be tomorrow, that's for sure. So in the meantime, because I doubt there will be anything added on to the end of this, certainly not my astronomical thing, because shock horror, total fucking blanket cloud coverage again. You can't see a fucking thing. So yeah, again I won't be adding any of those. So it's basically if I find something noteworthy before I get around to uploading this video. So with that in mind, go away. We are on to day 4, and as I predicted, my rate of progress has slowed quite significantly because I am now trying to fill the codex. In fact, I am 9 jumps away from the next codex entry, or at least 9. So once we've got to the end here, I'll show whereabouts I am as far as getting the codex filled. I am over halfway. I think it's 56, might be 57. Just scan this place. Nothing but gas giants. Okay. Different.
System scan complete.
It's not as if this is even a Tautari star. Normally, if it's nothing but gas giants, that's... Yeah, it's a Tautari system. That is very close to the primary star there. Anyway, so this is where I'm at with the codex then. So Hawking's Gap, yeah, so I found 56. There are 107, so yeah, I am over halfway, but only just. As far as the astronomical bodies go, I'm not doing too bad. You may not think it when you see how many of the star types I have yet to get. So still looking for O-type supergiant, still looking for B-type supergiant, and A-type supergiant, and yeah, F-type supergiant. I've not exactly been overwhelmed with the number of supergiants I've found so far. So the G-type, with a K, supergiant, and the giant, but that K-type giant, that is where I'm heading to now. M-type, again, supergiant and giant. I actually have Class M systems ignored, which doesn't help, but yeah, I mean, I'll go to some specific ones if I need to. Then we have the 4 carbon star types. So CN, CJ, MS and S. Haven't found any of those. Not found any of the Wolf-Rayet stars. Not found any of the white dwarf stars. I find that white dwarf stars tend to be in some clusters. So if I find one, I should find several you know, white dwarf star systems fairly close to each other. So I'm not too fussed about looking for them yet. I'll go after those, you know, all together. Not found neutron star either, but again, I've not really been looking for them because the system with the Lagrange cloud that I'm eventually heading to, the primary star there is a neutron star, so I know I've got that covered. Yeah, found a black hole. So with the gas giants, this is pretty easy. The helium-rich gas giant is the only type I've not yet found. And with the terrestrials, yeah, I've not found a terraformable ammonia world yet, and I've not found the terraformable metal-rich planet with atmosphere, but they are the only two. As far as the biological and geological, geological signals do get pretty tedious trying to find them because you've got to try and find all of the different variants. So I've not found a water fumarole. That's the only fumarole so far, or the only fumarole left. With ice fumaroles, not found sulfur dioxide one. They are quite tricky to find actually. You've got to find them on rocky ice world rather than out and out ice world, because sulfur dioxide, you won't get that on icy worlds. And I still need to find ammonia and nitrogen ice fumaroles. Also with the ice geysers, again, ammonia and nitrogen ice geysers. Haven't found any of the regular geysers yet. They are a bit rare, I find. So yeah. Gas vents, not found a water or carbon dioxide gas vent. And then with the Lagrange cloud and the L-type anomalies, I mean, they're together, so I know where to go for those. That is one of my destinations. And then with the organic structures, it's not looking too good. Aside from the Amphora plant, yeah, I've still got to find the lot. So, and I just know I'm going to have trouble with the sinuous tubers because they are the first four all in the same system. I don't know how you fucking pronounce it. The Viridian ones, anyway, the green ones. Yeah, their reported location is somewhere different. Does that mean I'll actually get the chance to see some green ones? What do you think? And anomalies, I'm hoping that, yeah, these are all, yeah, they are all in different systems, because these have the same problem as the sinuous tubers, if they're in, you know, if they're all in the same system. And then bark mounds. I mean, bark mounds are pretty common, so, you know, it's weird that I haven't found a single one yet. So anyway, those are the signals that I am still looking for. Now, while I'm here, I think it's time for a welcome, if that is the right word, return of a spot of Elite Dangerous Ranting. Because, well, 2 came up very recently, because, yep, this is not 1 rant, it's not 2 rants, it is 3 of them. So we'll start off with the whole thing about mining. I noticed a lot of players on my friends list seem to have taken up near permanent residence in the Lagrange system. We all know why everyone goes to Baran. I do it if I'm going mining. Baran is where I go. And everyone seems to be doing this mad scramble, you know, desperate to get their mining done before the January update. And the reason for doing so is because they are saying that frontier developments are going to nerf mining. I fucking hate the word nerf. I wish people would stop fucking using it.
Fuel scooping complete.
Now, okay, yeah, you can sort of understand why people would jump to the conclusion that it's going to be nerfed, because frontier developments have a history of every time they find that something that people are enjoying doing and are able to make progress at a pretty good rate as a result, the first thing they do is balance it out so that it becomes a bit shit. So yeah, you can semi-understand why people have jumped to that conclusion, but the thing is, in the announcement when they said that they were going to be you know, doing something regarding selling
System scan complete.
any commodity, but, you know, mining in particular, I just completely lost the thread of what I was fucking saying. Anyway, yeah, when they announced it, it didn't even read anything like it was going to be a nerf. What they said was that the price would reflect the demand for, you know, the particular commodity. So let's say you've decided to do the ultimate in tedium and go mining for void opals. Now, I fucking hate void opal mining. Last time I did it, I filled the Type 10 cargo hold. I said, that's it, I'm never doing it again. It's fucking unbearable. But let's say you've done it and you've got 200 of them. And you find somewhere that, you know, will buy them in at a decent price, and their demand is 100. So you sell the first 100 at, you know, the price you were expecting because the demand was there. And then, just clear. I do that so I can clear the space and I can actually see where the actual planets are. But yeah, so you sell those, get the price you want, and then the second 100, because there's no longer the demand, the price is not as good. How much it's affected, no one knows. But this is nothing new. What they are actually doing, if that is, you know, how it is going to work out, and to say that's what it looks like to me. Well, that's how the commodities market worked about 3 or 4 years ago, when it was working properly. So it's not a nerf, it's getting it back to working as it was supposed to be. The other thing is, just because it's affected by the demand doesn't mean that, you know, suddenly all of your mined commodities are now worthless. It means, you know, oh dear, you've just got to go somewhere else and sell them, you know, in another place. You can't just, you know, mine everything you can get your hands on in Boran and then you know, sell it all at the nearest place or whatever. You've actually got to find somewhere that has the demand and the decent price and sell it there. It doesn't take, you know, a genius to figure that out, and it doesn't take very long to find such a place. So the only people it is really going to affect are the people who play the game in such a fucking lazy way that they can't be bothered to actually fly anywhere. And that's when you think, well, if that's how you play the game, why do you play it at all? Because space flight is what the game is all about. So, you know, yeah, just take what you've got, sell some one place, sell some another place if you have to. Or just find somewhere that, you know, has the demand for them. And as far as like I suppose the big three commodities, I don't think paynite is going to be affected by it much at all, because paynite is so sort of spread out. There's no like one system that everyone goes to mine paynite. So the demand is going to be still pretty uniform, and I think it's not really going to change much compared to what it is at the moment. With void opals, again, I think it will be affected, but not a huge amount, because again, void opals, you know, there are plenty of void opal hotspots. So you could be in fuck knows what system. The only thing with void opals is now you're probably going to have to, you know, if you want to sell them at the highest possible price, you might actually have to fly somewhere instead of just pissing off to the nearest system and you know, selling them there. Oh dear. Now, low temperature diamonds are the ones that are likely to be affected the most, because, let's face it, just about everybody who buys or mines them does so in Boran. That's why everyone goes there. And as I say, I'm one of them. I don't bother mining void opals now. I go for low temperature diamonds, and I get them in the Boran system. But I don't just, you know, piss off to the nearest system when it comes to selling them. I will look for a place that has a decent price and go there. And if that is what you do, then the chances are you're not going to be affected at all. But also, people are taking a very short-sighted view of it. Yes, there is a chance that, you know, your beloved Painite and void opals and low temperature diamonds could end up with their price going down. But also, it is very, very likely that other mineable commodities, because everyone keeps ignoring them, the demand for them is going to go up and up, and therefore so will the price. So, okay, you can't max your profit on the void opals anymore. So look at some other commodities. You know, look at some of the other, was it rodplumsite or whatever, and serendipite and stuff like that, which you also get from core mining. And I strongly suspect the value of those is going to increase. Thus, again, negating the supposed absolute price plummeting on void opals that everyone seems so convinced is going to happen. So, yeah, to me, it looks like it is just going to, you know, bring the commodities board running as they were supposed to be running in the first place, and how they used to run, you know, about 3 or 4 years ago when they worked. Now, obviously, you know, this is going on the assumption that Frontier Developments will actually do an update that doesn't fuck everything up. But then again, every new feature for this game over the past 5 years has always been going on that assumption, and it is not a safe assumption to make. So that is rant number 1. You really have no reason to assume that you know, mining is suddenly going to become worthless and not, you know, not worth bothering with and all this. There is no reason to think that at all. So we go on to rant number 2. Now, someone watching this might be a bit familiar with what I am about to say. Multicrew. I think my opinion of multicrew is pretty well established by now. Let's fucking clear this. I hate it. I have no interest in it whatsoever. There's been one occasion when I used it, and that was purely because I was doing exploration and somebody wanted to see where I was heading. I was going to one of those abandoned bases. So, yeah, I showed them that. That was the only time I've ever used it. There was one occasion when I was asked if I wanted to use it, and I said no, and I regret it. And that was, fucking a long time ago. That was back when Alpha November was still playing this. And he had done a pretty long exploration trip. And he was somewhere that I was quite keen to see. And he offered me the chance, you know, going to multicrew, and you'll be able to see it. And I said no, because my intention was to go there myself and see it for myself. And since then I've not even got close to it. This is the closest I've come to actually going there and doing that. But that is it. I have zero interest in doing combat in multicrew. Absolutely fuck all, none. And I've made that very, very, very fucking clear in numerous videos. I've never had a good thing to say about multicrew. The staggeringly rudimentary system that has been implemented for it, and the fact that at no time at all does it offer you any benefit where, you know, having the two players both in their own ship would not be better.
Frameshift drive charging.
So yeah, when I say I'm not interested in multicrew, I mean I am not interested in it. I don't want to do it. What it doesn't mean is that if you ask me to do it and I say no because I'm either doing something else, like exploring, or I just don't want to do it because I think it looks shit, that is me saying I'll spend the next 10 or 15 minutes trying to persuade me to do something that I've made blindingly fucking obvious I have no intention of doing. Which is precisely what happened in the early hours of this morning. And I'll admit I was being semi-polite about it initially. And then I quickly got to the stage where I just thought, right, I'm not going to reply. And then I got to the stage where I thought, right, you asked me one more fucking time, just try it. And thankfully, at that point, he didn't. I think he finally got the message. Not interested. So, yeah, if you want to do multicrew, ask someone else. Don't ask me. And do not spend 10 or 15 minutes trying to persuade me once I've told you, no, I don't want to do it. That's not a good idea. There you go. Rant number 2. Now, rant number 3. This is a big one, and this is the most recent one that I encountered. Oh, target system is the next one. Doesn't look like there's going to be anything else here apart from that secondary star. So we can jump straight out. So earlier this afternoon I got a link from someone in Facebook, and they linked me to a YouTube video, and they asked me, you know, is this actually the best way to gather materials? I can only assume they've seen my last video and seen that I'm maxed out on all of the materials that you can trade in.
Frameshift drive charging.
So I thought, right, I'll have a look and see what they say. Now, straight away, I wasn't all that thrilled about watching this video because it was made by Commander Exigious. Now, I was 99% convinced that he is American, which is not a good start. And also, he does the old... Oh, there we go. Yeah, there's my codex entry. He does the old changing the head-up display colours, which again I hate. Most of the time, if I am going to be watching an Elite Dangerous video, if I see that it's done by somebody who's changed the head-up display colours, I stop it right away and look for another one. I fucking can't stand it. So yeah, he's got off to a pretty shit start as far as I'm concerned. And then he goes into his guide of the fastest way of collecting materials. It's quite a recently made video. I think it was done towards the end of December, so no, it's barely a week old.
System scan complete.
I don't think any of those are going to be worth mapping, but we'll have a look. Well, right. I'll have a look at this one. I don't think I'm going to find anything that I really want to, that I particularly want, but we'll give it a try. So anyway, so I looked at this this video, and he went through each material type individually. So he started off talking about encoded, and to be honest, most of it is identical to what I already do anyway. So then he went on to he then went on to raw, and I could not believe my eyes. And then he went on to manufactured, which involved using an exploit. So yeah, I wasn't going to do that. So yeah, the encoded one was pretty close to how I do it. The other two, no, not close at all. And then came the moment when he convinced me that okay, I was 99% sure, then I became 100% sure. And that is because he then said that if you are collecting materials and you do it in a way that is not what he says here, then you are doing it wrong. Hey, who the fuck does this walking shit nugget think he is? If you aren't doing it the way he says, then you're doing it wrong. Now, I've mentioned this a few times in videos, how much I fucking hate it when people say that. I've done, you know, a small smattering of like guides and answering questions about the game and shit like that. And I always say, you know, okay, this is what I think, but just because this is how it has worked out for me, doesn't mean that's how it's going to work out for you. So, you know, find your own way. Same with like what ship type I use, just because I think a particular ship is great or I think a particular ship is absolute fucking bollocks, doesn't mean you're going to think that. So, you know, try it out anyway and make up your own fucking mind. And the same again with like ship loadouts, you know, weapons that I use other players wouldn't touch with a barge pole and vice versa. But I don't say, if you're not doing it my way, you are doing it wrong. But that is what this fucking shit cunt actually sat there and said. And it didn't stop there, because in the comments, somebody pointed this out. And they were saying, you know, well, hang on, I don't do any of it in any of the ways you've mentioned here, but I've got plenty of materials. And he maintained it there. He was like, well, if you want to waste your time by doing it a much, you know, worse way, then, you know, go right ahead. But people who know, I can't remember if it was these exact words, but yeah. But people who are watching this now know the best way to do it. My way is the best way. What a cunt! If you are watching this, Commander Exidious, and I'm sure you're not, you really are a fucking festering bellend. I fucking hate you. Right? So that's bad enough. This staggering arrogance of this stinking shit smear saying that if you dare to do something in a different way, you're doing it wrong. Oh, fuck off. But then you look at the actual guide itself. So like I say, the first one was the encoded. Now, like I say, he did it almost exactly the same way that I do, which is go to the Jameson Cobra crash site, max out on the 4 encoded materials you get from there, not 2 like he says in it. There's actually 4, and then go off to a material trader and trade them for whatever you want. Okay, now the nearest material trader, and he even says this in the video, in his video as well, the nearest material trader is at Diaguandri, which is 2 jumps away. That's it. But he doesn't say to do that. What he says in his video, where he states that if you don't do this, you're doing it wrong, is to self-destruct, so that it will then put you back there. Because, you know, the staggering, 5-10 minutes it takes to do 2 jumps to fly back there. Oh no, that's a shit way of doing it. It's much better to waste several million credits in a completely unnecessary rebuy and go back that way. Yeah, that's the right way to do it. That's the Commander Exiguous way. It's the only way to do it. Why self-destruct? Why do you need to do that? It takes 10 minutes, 2 jumps away. Then we come to how he says collecting raw materials. Now, plenty of people already know that if you go to like geological or biological sites, you'll get plenty of raw materials there. I personally don't bother doing that. I always land at the bottom of craters, and I will just drive around there, obviously checking to make sure that the planet I land on has the particular raw material that I'm after. I never use raw material traders because I think it's a waste of time. You can find what you want, no problem. Let's just actually start moving. I'll set course for the Lagrange cloud again. There we go. I'm a lot closer to it than I thought now. Only 2,053 away. 29 jumps. Anyway, yeah, so everyone knows that raw materials, you can get them from biological or geological sites. Well, his method, which he, the only way of doing it, the right way, don't do this, you're doing it wrong, is to get them from the crystal shards. The nearest crystal shards to the populated zone is 1,500 light years away. So if you're in a ship that has, say, a 30 light year jump range, which is not terrible, and you've done 20 jumps and realise you're not even halfway, you are surely going to start thinking, fastest way? Okay, well, I mean, you'll get exploration data, so, I suppose there is that. And once you get there, of course, you'll get the codex entry payout as well when you, use the composition scanner on the crystal shards. Crystal shards only give you grade 4 materials, so if you do it this way, you've got to then go to a material trader and trade them in. And also, of course, you can only collect 100 of them before you're maxed out. So then you've got to come back and trade them in and then piss off out there again. And the crystal shards only give you one type, so you have to keep going to like the different planets with crystal shards if you want to say you found one that gives you tellurium, and then you think, right, well, I've got all the tellurium, now I want, I don't know, technetium. Well, you've got to go somewhere else for that. Find a different load of crystal shards.
System scan complete.
So collecting them from crystal shards involves, say, at least a 1500 light year trip out. That's not quick when you consider that you can find them easily within the populated zone. And you don't have to then rely on using raw material traders. But then comes the real crunch. Because he says, in his way, his is the right way, everyone else, you're all wrong. Once you've finished at that site, you self-destruct again. So that exploration data that I mentioned and the codex entry payout, you don't get those. So you miss out on those millions, plus you lose the several millions again on another fucking self-destruct, another rebuy cost. I mean, is that video a piss take? Is he doing it because he thinks, let's see if people are stupid enough to do this? Because there is no fucking way that that method for collecting raw materials is even close to being any good, let alone the best, let alone, oh yeah, if you do it any other way, you're wrong. Fucking what? Not only is this cunt staggeringly arrogant, but that is moronic. So then he comes to the encodeds, and he says don't use Dab's Hope because it's too slow. Well, that's fucking bollocks for a start. What he says is to, well, say use an exploit, which I'm not going to detail, but it involves going to grade 5 signal sources. Well, first of all, you've got to find a grade 5 signal source, but that's not enough. He then goes on to say that it has to be a grade 5 signal source which will have at least 15 minutes left once you get there, and that is necessary for the exploit to work. So if you find a high grade signal source, then if it has, say, well, anything less than 15 minutes on the clock when you first find it, according to him, that's fucking useless. Yeah, don't waste your time going there, because if you do so, you're playing it wrong. Let's have a look at those two water worlds that I found. How far away are they? Only 6,000. I might go and map those. I might map those two metal rich as well. Let's check these. Right, so I'll map C4. I'll definitely map C3 and C2. Right, so 2, 3, 4 and 5. But I'll start with B1 and B2. So he once again says that with the raw materials, with manufactured materials, you go to grade 5 sources, you use an exploit and then trade them down. Now, trading down grade 5 manufactured materials is a shit idea because they are pretty rare. What I do is I'll get grey 5s from, you know, the high grade signal sources, or from the mission boards. And for all the other grades, so you know, grade 4 downwards, then I'll go Dab's Hope. I'll trade, you know, materials that I know I can find at Dab's Hope in for the materials that I can't get from there, and then I'll just go to Dab's Hope and do fuck knows however many laps, and you know, get them all back again. And that doesn't take me too long, as is, you know, rather well illustrated by the fact that I have every manufactured material there is, and I'm maxed on them all. So, you know, it works. But I'm playing the game wrong, obviously, because I don't do it his way. The other thing is, he says, and he can't stress this enough, he even said that you've got to have collector limpets in order to collect manufactured materials. I have never used collector limpets to collect manufactured materials. Never used them. So again, I must be doing it wrong. You know, I know there are plenty of players out there who do use limpets to collect materials for whatever reason. But I find it so fucking easy to pick up, you know, the materials manually in whatever ship I'm in, that I just do not see the point in taking limpets. But like I say, that is a personal choice. If you feel you need to, or have to, or want to use limpets, then fair enough. I don't. But don't tell me that the way I'm playing the game is wrong because, you know, I don't use limpets to collect materials. I mean, what a cunt. If you don't do it this way, then you are doing it wrong. Yes, because if I need iron, what I'm going to do is go to a material trader and then do a 1500 light year trip to crystal shards and then self-destruct once I've got there. Are you fucking serious? So yeah, Commander Exidious, I think you are a fucking shit cunt. So anyway, well, I now have 57 codex entries after getting that orange giant class K star. Still always geological signals. Okay, right. So I'm off to scan however many fucking planets it was around C star. It was C2. Fucking hell. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, yeah, so there's 4 of them. So that'll do for this segment. I strongly suspect the next segment will be me in the Lagrange cloud, seeing as it is, well, I think less than 2,000 light years away from me now. So yeah, we're getting through it. Back when there is something to come back to. Right, we are one jump away then from the system with the Lagrange cloud. I decided to head to the system that was very close to it, or closest to it, because I had a feeling that the view of the nebula would be quite impressive, and it is. It does look pretty good. Not seen a nebula like that before, at least I don't remember. If you look at it from a different angle, in fact if we bring up the galaxy map, it actually looks quite similar to how the Eta Carini system should look, but it doesn't, or at least almost certainly doesn't. I mean, there's no sign of any nebula around it, so... Anyway, let's head on in. So we should get at least 3 codex entries from this system. First of which will be the neutron star, which looks like being the primary star here. I'm not going to bother supercharging the freight ship drive, or at least not yet. But with this ship, if I do that, then yeah, I'm going to be getting a range of over 300 light years in one jump, which isn't bad. Lots of planets, it looks like they're all going to be around the secondary star, because there is absolutely fuck all sign of anything else. Yeah, they are. And that secondary star is a long old fucking way. 172,837. Okay, well, let's get scanning. Actually 26 signals. It's nowhere near as many as I thought there would be. I'm not sorry about that. I have a feeling the notable stellar phenomena is going to be in among this lot. I don't have the luck. In fact, I think that is the signal there, yes. Or it's a signal. There's more than one though. Alright. We've got a water world in here as well, so yeah, this is certainly a valuable old system. And an Earth-like. It looks like there are 2 water worlds here. That's not just an ammonia world. Still can't be fucking terraformed. One of only 2 Terran planets types I haven't found. A terraformable ammonia world. And I'm quite keen to find one. I want to get the codex filled. Second notable stellar phenomena. So what I'm going to do is map the valuable stuff, because, you know, who fucking would? There's one of all 3 types. Earth-like, ammonia world, water world, so of course I'm going to map those. And once I have mapped them, so we take a look at the system map. I mean, surely none of these are going to be terraforming candidates. No. So once I've done the water world, Earth-like world, where's the ammonia world? There. Once I've done those, then the next stop will be the notable stellar phenomena. So yeah, it's jump cut time, and back in a few. Right, so I've only scanned the Earth-like, I keep saying scanned, mapped, the Earth-like, the water world and the ammonia world. But this is what I came here for. So, closing in on one of the notable stellar phenomena signals. There may be two here, but the fact that there's only one Lagrange cloud that has been catalogued tells me that it's the same thing in both. So we'll find out. Now, although I can disengage now, I'm going to wait until I'm 1 megameter away, because a lot of the time, if I disengage too early, I'm nowhere near the fucking thing. So I play it safe, and here we go. Right, it's definitely the colour I expected. Yeah, we can see the lightning flashes. I was not expecting these things though. You see some of the lightning forks. Certainly here as well. I'm starting to buff it out a bit. Whatever these are, I cannot scan them. Right, that's the Lagrange cloud entry. I've no idea what these things that I'm approaching are, but I can't scan them, which is fucking irritating. So I want to know what they are. Albidum Peduncle. Yeah, nothing happens when you scan them. And that happens all the time when you, because I've seen other people mention this in videos and on posts in the forums and stuff like that. These don't appear in the codex for this region, so the game acts as if they're not there. Is this all that's in here, or are there also some of these anomalies? Let's go a bit deeper in. I have a feeling I don't want that the lightning strikes to get too close. But I do want, there's a massive signals around here, surely they're not all these peduncles, so surely some of them. Must be these anomaly signals. Yeah, got something here. Here we go. L-type anomaly. I've got it, and it hit us. Doesn't do your shields any favours. That actually, by the sounds of it, was a lightning strike. I know these anomalies can interfere with all your systems. I don't think that was the anomaly doing that. One way to find out was just let the shields charge up a little bit. But that's the third of the three types of codex entries that I was expecting for this region. Got a lot, so yeah, I'm certainly happy about that. While the shields are recharging, let's take a look. Lagrange cloud, confirmed. L6 type anomaly, confirmed. And within astronomical bodies, not there. There we go, neutron star, confirmed. So, yep, that's the 3 I was expecting. Let's see if we get a bit closer to this. Right, so it is the anomaly that causes it. Okay. I wonder then if it's the presence of the anomalies that's also causing the lightning in the first place. But, yeah, there's no denying it. It does look fucking good. And, the audio is pretty good as well. Definitely one to see. This is the nearest of the Lagrange storm clouds, so you know, if you want to see one of these, then yeah, this is the place to go, because well, yeah, you could be here a fucking long time waiting for any others. Those lightning shots aren't actually hitting my ship. I'm trying to get a screenshot with the lightning. The lightning actually, you know, on display. I'm not having any luck. Fucking hell. Come on. Close to giving up the idea of getting some actual screenshots here. Maybe I'll try later. So anyway, there we are. That is the Lagrange storm cloud. So my next actual destination, as far as what is planned, is the Eta Carina Nebula, but it's going to be a while before I even set off for there, because I want to get this codex, if not filled, then certainly close to it. And as you can see, I mean, I've got 65 out of 107, so I need another 42. So yeah, I've got a long old way to go. So I don't know when the next video is going to be, but yeah, there will, you know, there obviously will be one, because the trip is far from over. This was the main reason for me doing it, but that doesn't mean, it doesn't mean I've finished, not by a long shot. So anyway, that is this particular video done. Yeah, that is this particular video done then, and I'll be back with the next one, which will either be once I'm back in the once I'm in the Eta Carina Nebula, or if I encounter something particularly interesting beforehand. So yeah, that's it. So I will see you when there is something worth recording.